And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. Man, some of y'all invested in the cryptocurrency market. You probably sat there and watched your money just fucking fall to hell, right? To just collapse, and that was it. But kind of like what I've been saying for what's been going on as far as the cryptocurrency market, it's the new financial institutions, man. It's new financial markets was going on. These governments, these financial institutions, these banks and stuff, been talking about, oh no, we're not gonna have digital money, or maybe we will, or oh, you know what, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that, or we don't know how we're gonna come about it. It might be a few years away, blah blah. The line, like they're flat out lying, man. It just is what it is because the media has already been long, long time ago been bought and paid for. So corporate media in association with governments and international organizations, they already been sold out. I just shared a video on my blog site, which is from High Roots React, and it was showing the clips and stuff of meteorologists and local news anchors, stuff like that, who are exposing the corporate media and showing you guys exactly that facts does not matter. It's all about stories. It's all about narrative, right? And for people like me who say this stuff, we're labeled conspiracy theorists. We're crazy. We're all this other bullshit. But it's no one pays attention, man. It's just no one pays attention. No one has pattern recognition. No one just sees the obvious. That we've been programmed, we've been brainwashed for so long. Even like over the weekend in these past couple of days, with the cryptocurrency market crashing, it's hard. It's hard because even I know I've been in this, and I know this is part of it and stuff, and it's just annoying because you sit there and you think how many people had got in because Elon Musk said something about Dogecoin or whatever, or he said something about Bitcoin. All these people, all these YouTubers, these people that do podcasts sit there and tell you, oh yeah, put your money in this, put your money in that, blah blah. I don't tell you put your money in anything. I'm telling you what I do, what I put my money at. So if I do tell you to put your money in something, it's just what I put my money in. You do your own, do your own research. I always say that. Some of these people will sit there and lie to you, man, because everybody's trying to make a buck, right? Everybody's trying to make a buck. I don't do this podcast for money. Like I don't do it for money. I make no money from it. Not one fucking penny, right? Not one penny. Not one penny. Now I just sit here and thought about, wait a minute, did I make the payment for Podbean for my subscription? I was like, wait a minute, did I pay that this month? Now I think about, I don't know the last time I paid it. I guess I am paying it. Must be paying it on something. Whatever. Okay. Anyways, but anyways, it's interesting because they will continue to lie to us. They have no respect for the regular common person, right? They have no respect for our intelligence. They treat us as if flat out we're sheep, as if we don't matter. We do as we're told. Doesn't fucking matter. As you see, Warren Buffett steps down from being on the board or whatever at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. One, you should be thinking, why the fuck are they working together too? Warren Buffett been giving away his money since like 2006 because of charitable donations to different foundations. Some that are in his ex-wife's name, some in his children's name, or ran by his children, stuff like that. All I hear is he's giving his money away to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. You hide your money in charitable foundations because you have your charitable donations and stuff, so you can't be taxed and things like that. With a so-called corporate global minimum tax coming along this summer, we talked about this on this podcast, and all of a sudden he just decides to give more money away and then step down. He's avoiding taxes, man. That's what you do. If you understand the game of money, that's what you do. Hell, I can't even get mad. Like, yeah, you better do that. You better do that, right? That just should put things in perspective. But see, stuff like that doesn't get mentioned that much unless you're following financial news and markets. And even in that case, they're still lying to you. Now we talked about like central bank digital currencies on the podcast before, and people sometimes are like, oh, it might happen, it may not happen. They're still trying to figure it out. And god damn it, I knew I didn't have the screen set up. So I have an article here from Reuters, which I apparently they stopped having free articles as well. I think I tried to have another article pull up, and it was like, oh no, you reach your limit. Like limit, god damn. So now all these news media websites, these publications are trying to go to a subscription base. Now you gotta tell me I gotta pay for information? God damn. I already pay for entertainment, but I don't need entertainment, right? But now I gotta pay for information? This is where we're going at in this world. They're slowly trying to cordon off certain things, information, Internet of Things, Internet value. They're trying to put everything up. In the background, it'll all run together. But for the most part, us regular people won't know shit. We're being funneled our information. And I don't like that. I don't want my information being funneled. Just put it out there and let me decide what to do with it. Let me figure it out. But I said this article here from Reuters. It says central, and this came out this morning, 7:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It says central bank digital currencies get full BIS backing. Bank of International Settlements. Bank of International Settlement. Bank of International Settlement. We talked about them before. One of those multinational or international organizations with headquarters in, where is it at? Switzerland. Huh. Interesting, right? Said the Bank of International Settlements has given its full backing to the development of central bank digital currencies, saying they are needed to modernize finance and ensure big tech does not take control of money. So they're trying to make sure financial technology companies, a Ripple or Coinbase or whoever, Facebook with their Libra coin, what they were talking about, they're trying to make sure they don't take over. They're trying, the governments around the world and government organizations, right? They're trying to make sure no one touches the fucking money. They'll let the private sector develop all they want to, but they're making sure at the end of the day, we still handle all the money. All the major banks and stuff like that, those that will roll over and go outdated and don't go along with the times, and those that will stay. All I'm trying to do is make sure I carve out a little crumb, carve a little space. I make sure I get a little bit of crumbs off the table. I mean, because it's relative at this time. At this, yeah, like I'm not gonna make the money that they make. I'm not trying to make the money that they make. I just want a little bit of crumbs, man. That's it. I want a little bit of crumbs. Let me buy a house. Let me buy a car, and I'll be done with it. Like that's it. That's all I want. That's all I want. And if I go any higher than that, at that point in time, I'm just playing the game and trying to see what goals I can accomplish. It because for kicks and giggles. To be honest with you, man, because this shit is wild. The amount of money that they're about to fall into, because the idea is to get everyone around the world into a monetary system, right? And then the best way to do that is through the internet, because everyone has access to the internet if they have a smartphone. And if you have a smartphone, you are also a part of the internet, because the internet runs through your phone as a, it's just a bounce, it's like bounced off as another server, just another server, another node on the network. The internet ain't going nowhere because everyone got all these devices, which is the internet. I think sometimes people don't understand what the internet is. They think it's like, it makes me think about an episode of South Park where it's like, seems like it's just a big switch and you cut it off. Internet, a network interacting with each other, a network of servers passing along information, computers passing along information, and that's all it is. You have the Internet of Things in your own household. Your TV is plugged into the internet, right? Well, first you start off with your modem, or what you call a modem. It's really just a switch, but you start off with that in your house, right? And then you have your internet going through your TV, internet going through your cell phone, internet going through your computer. Some people have internet going through their smart home devices. You have a whole network inside your own home, all sharing data and information with each other. Let alone the apps and stuff that you have that are constantly asking for your information. Amazon asking for information from you. Can they gain access to your local network because you want to be able to screen or stream something from your phone and to your TV without, with certain connectivity issues. I can't think of the word right now how to do that. Mirror, be kind of a mirror what they call on your phone and stuff like that. But all it is just connecting, making a new network connection. So all this is coming on right now in front of our face. And you had a catalyst with COVID-19. You're about to have another catalyst, in my opinion. And where you want to say conspiracy theories or tinfoil hats, yeah, go ahead. I'm okay with that. Whether it be a cyber attack, whether it be something goes down as far as the internet, or they call it an accident, wherever the case may be, something is about to happen in order to get all this stuff online. Because, like the article is saying, it says dub the central bank to the world's central banks. That lets you know what the BIS, Bank International Settlement, is. The central banks to the world's central banks, and in association with World Bank and IMF, International Monetary Fund, says which is coordinating many of their discussions on digital currencies. Set out recommendations on Wednesday on how a central bank digital currency such as the digital dollar, digital euro, digital yen, R1 should look. Interesting, right? They got all this coming on and stuff. Meanwhile, the cryptocurrency market crashed. Why? Because majority, probably 99% of all the cryptocurrencies is just Ponzi schemes in association with these banks and private corporations and governments. They're just making up money. They're taking you in for a sucker, bringing you in. They crash the market, you sell, they take your money. They laugh because they already know when to sell. And then they'll sell small and stuff too, so you don't catch on to what they're doing. It's all a game, man. Says as part of upcoming annual report, it estimated last. It estimated that at least 56 central banks and monetary authorities representing around a fifth of the world's population are now looking at digital currencies as commerce shifts online. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something here about COVID-19 change the way the world works, stuff like that. Let's see. The push comes as physical cash use falls globally, and authorities look to fend off the threat of their money printing powers from Bitcoin and efforts from big tech such as the Facebook backed Diem, formerly Libra. Without central bank digital currencies, digital money would become increasingly dominated by big tech firms. So they're playing off as that, right? They're afraid of their the so-called competition. There is no competition, man. Facebook has government contracts. There is no competition. They're just playing the narrative. It's like, oh, we gotta do this because so you can freak out, so you can be like, you know what? We don't want Facebook and stuff making money. We'll keep the money with the banks and the government because we're used to that. See how that fear, see how that narrative is written into this article? That fear. It's always emotion. It's always emotion. And it says the Bahamas became the first to launch the general purpose CBDC. So you have the Bahamas who did it last year in October. You have China who's done it, and I think they moved their testing to Beijing, which is obviously their capital. I believe France has already started to do it as well. Trials. And it says Switzerland and the Bank of France have announced Europe's first cross-border experiment. Cross border. Cross border. Where have we heard that from? Funny how these words just keep popping up. Cross border, level playing field. Interesting, right? And then the things, and then a value, moving money at the speed of light, moving money. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, huh? It's almost like these people all just follow the same script when they speak. It's almost like you know what you're supposed to say, but I haven't even talked to anybody else. Hmm. It says authorities will have to decide whether citizens need digital IDs to use CBDCs or go down a token based route that many cryptocurrencies use to keep transactions more anonymous. Yeah, there's going to be some identification that goes into all this. Best believe. You want to operate in this new financial system, you're going to have to let us know exactly who the fuck you are. uh, wow. It has a little damn, I can't believe this. It has a little kind of graph showing, how the monetary system with retail central bank digital currency will work. I'm laughing because I've seen this already. And I'm trying to remember where I saw this at because I saw this a while back. And it only, I was it. It says from their BIS working papers. I guess that came out this month, but I could have sworn I seen this way before. I hadn't seen this graph or this picture a couple of years ago. But it just lets you know how they've been planning this for so long. That they got all this going on, yet nobody understands that this is going on. So as I say all this, because as the cryptocurrency markets crash, it's gonna this blockchain technology, these distributed ledger technology, all these things are here to stay, and they're just continuing. They're just waiting for their infrastructure to be built completely where they're comfortable, and then they'll announce it. Like I said, by the time they announce it, it's already too late. That's how government works. That's how you're supposed to do things, anyways, man. You have plans within plans within plans, and by the time you make your full announcement, you already done all this stuff because you never come out because you never want to undersell what you're doing, right? You don't want to come out and say, "Yeah, we're gonna start doing this," and then you put yourself on your own timeline, your own timetable and stuff. And if you fuck up, you look stupid. No, if you say you can get something done in 5 years, your goal is to get that done in 1 year, right? If you say, "Oh, it'll be done by the end of this year," your goal is to have you already done it. You already been working on it. It's something I learned in the military. You talk up, like you don't, you. I can't think of the phrase I want to say. As far as the way you set your goals, your internal goals are higher than the external goals in which you tell your external customers, as opposed to your internal customers, the people that you work with. So if I say internally that, hey, we're gonna switch over our whole financial system within inside our household and stuff within I shouldn't say that. So, okay, take Bahamas. Hey, we're gonna change our financial infrastructure within by the end of this year. We're gonna be working on this stuff, and then you next thing you know, you go out and make a press conference and say, yeah, we should have our new financial structure up within the next 4 to 5 years or 3 to 5 years. So when you come out and you're officially done with the thing, you'll be like, oh yeah, well, because of our great work from our employees and the people that work at this company and everyone, so everybody can stand there and pat themselves on the back and act like they did something fucking special and talk themselves up like, look how great we are. This is how the game goes, man. This is how it always gone. You just never realize it. The internet just didn't pop up one day in the late 90s. It was working on it since the 60s and 70s. GPS didn't pop up out of nowhere either. They already had it in an army, right? All these different forms of technology. Touchscreen. You think touchscreen really just came out of nowhere with an iPhone? With Steve Jobs stuff? No, man. They already had these certain technologies. These things already exist. They run it in the background, they practice, and they do it. By the time they release it for commercial use, they already worked out all the kinks. And if anything else happens among that, they already know how to fix it. As I say that, as I read this article and stuff, it's like all of a sudden, all this news from these international organizations and stuff just start been popping out. I'm like, huh. It's interesting because you've been hearing that the cryptocurrency market is going down because of the miners and stuff like that. They'll just move to somewhere else. Or here and they're moving to Kazakhstan. They're moving to other places and stuff. They'll just pick up and move somewhere else. Like, it's no big deal. Or the cryptocurrency ban in China, which is nothing new. They just keep reiterating, they keep rewatching or reusing the same news. These people, it doesn't matter to them. They'll just say whatever because that's the goal. Get on there, spit out a narrative, say whatever you need to say, go back and do your business behind closed doors. Business always is done behind closed door. Nothing is public, man. Everything's done in secrecy. Take your own personal household, your own personal relationship amongst your family and friends and stuff. What do you always do? You never tell everybody exactly what you're doing. You always work in secrecy because the plans that you're trying to do or that you're trying to have and the goals you're trying to accomplish, that's not for the fucking world to know, right? And if you do say it, you say it in the broad terms. Like I tell y'all my goals, but I say it in broad terms. right? It's never specific. I never break down exactly how I'm gonna do all this stuff and everything and how I'm gonna lay it out and stuff. But if you pay close enough attention, you could piece together all the little things I say, and you can have an idea of what my plan is. Because you can't talk some of the stuff without. Anytime you lie, you gotta give a little bit of the truth in order to sell the lie. Because if you come out and just flat out blatantly lie, well, lying is irrational. It's illogical. It doesn't make sense unless you add some of facts to it, and you stretch out those facts and you lie about certain things. And that's all that people do. That's all that people do, man. Pay attention to the media and how they'll just spin up anything. Oh, central bank digital currency. Oh, we don't know if we're gonna do that. Yeah, blah 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 blah. And then they come out. Oh yeah, we're definitely doing it. We're definitely doing it. It's definitely a thing. It's yep. It's back. And when you have the central bank to the world central banks is saying that it's gonna happen. Guess what? Every fucking body is gonna do it because where you think the money's coming from, right? If it's the central banks or world central banks, who do you think runs the world right there? Money, money. And you know how you have total control of the world? Get everybody on money. The greatest slave there is, greatest slave system there is, money, debt. All right, it's just it's a facts, man. It's a facts of the situation. If you go off and live in the woods, you might be the most free you ever felt in your life, right? But yet somehow we're in this monetary system and we feel like we're in this modern world. Everything's it's so easy to go to the grocery store and get stuff like that, but it all costs money, and you spend majority of your time trying to earn money and freaking out about money. Yet you have no idea how money works because they don't teach financial literacy, and that's why there's no generational wealth because people don't understand money and no one is teaching them, and no one's trying to learn it. But there's no excuse anymore for that because you got access to the internet. You can go educate yourself and try to figure out how this money and stuff actually works. So you got all the stuff going on in the world and everything. You got Olympics coming up. You got stuff in sports, celebrities. Whether it's I think I seen something with Billie Eilish. Probably said she probably used some racial slur or something like that. You got all these other stuff. You got cancel culture, all the different things that's going on. Yet the money is not really being talked about, except when they're like, oh, it's cryptocurrency, it's speculative, you're gambling and stuff like that. Oh, look at this. Bitcoin is crashing because of the China news. They're just saying shit, man. You're told to say stuff. If you don't think they were told to say shit, remember how they all flat out lied about the elections, right? Flat out lied about elections. Go check out my podcast episode when I talked about the Time Magazine article. They literally gave a full-on blueprint of how they fortified, air quotes, direct quote actually, fortified the election and not rigged it. They told you exact blueprint of how they did it, who the people and parties were involved. No one fucking did anything. Right? No subpoenas came out. Nobody got arrested. Nobody even got asked a simple fucking question. So if you don't think they can pull off that and nothing happened to them, you don't think they can change the whole financial system right in front of your eyes? You didn't know they fucking stole an election right in front of you and nobody knew anything. And yet, if I say that, YouTube will take me down. But I think YouTube will push me so far down the algorithm, they don't give a fuck no more. So it doesn't even matter. I don't even think the people that subscribe to me on YouTube even get notifications about my videos. Actually, they should. I don't think they do. I think I subscribe to my own channel. I don't think I get notifications from my videos. I just now thought about that. Well, I'm saying they'll lie to you about COVID, right? They'll lie to you about election. You don't think they'll lie to you about the money? If there's a reason to lie about something, you know money is the main thing you lie about. You can win a lottery right now. I guarantee you'll lie to someone that you love and tell them that you ain't got no fucking money. Because that's how it goes, man. We don't really talk about our relationship with money. Like, it's really personal. Like, hey, I tell my kids all the time, like, you don't talk about your money, man. You don't talk about it. Like, if somebody asks how much money, hey, it's not your business, man. I tell everybody I'm broke. I'm broke. I could actually be broke. I could actually be rich. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm broke. Right? And I'm an honest person. I try not to lie, but guess what? I tell you, I'm broke. I'll lie in a heartbeat about my money. Right? And I try to be as honest as possible. But if you talk about my money, I'll fucking lie to you. I'll fucking lie to you. Because so you're not going to be worried about money because you don't know. You have to protect yourself because break it down in simplistic terms. You never know who you tell. If you tell somebody you got a lot of money, you don't know what that person might do to you. You don't know that person might try to rob you, try to kill you, try to do anything they can to extract money from you. Because money is the root of all evil, right? Yet the media is not gonna tell you nothing about money, and that's why. Because they don't want you to know what's going on. Because they're making sure they protect themselves and their money. I was on Twitter. I've been following this what they call breaking market news at Financial Juice. What's their following? 44,000. I don't know why I did that. But I had seen this, and I'm scouring financial news stuff like that every day. Every morning I wake up and stuff, I'm reading, because I can read this shit all day, every day, and I'll still fucking miss something. Right? I literally can read this shit all day, every day, and I'll still miss something. That's how much news gets circulated and how much they try to suppress and hide things. Even on your Twitter feed, especially on your social media feed and stuff, the algorithm, they try to hide shit. They try to hide shit. There's so many people I follow financial news and just information and stuff like that. I don't even get a chance to fucking see. Next thing I watch a YouTube video or something like that, and I see they go to somebody's Twitter. I'm like, wait a minute, I follow that person on Twitter. How come I didn't see that? I've been on this bitch all day. How come I didn't see that shit? So here you have, it says IMS Managing Director Georgieva, it's time to make the G20 debt reduction mechanism fully operational. So that stopped right there. I mean, that statement right there just stopped me, and I was just like taken back. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not a coincidence that a cryptocurrency market crashes. And then the Bank of International Settlement said, oh yeah, central bank digital currencies are here to stay. And then the IMF managing director, the head person, says it's time to make the G20 debt reduction mechanism fully operational. So my first thought is, what the fuck is a G20 debt reduction mechanism? And then debt reduction, I was like, huh, who is this? Maybe it's a stretch, but I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure Ripple talks about, and I say that only because I know IMF and Ripple's relationship. So I'm thinking, in it, the whole thing with Ripple is trying to bank the unbanked, get everybody to come online. Everybody has a smartphone. That's where I get that stuff from the CEO and whoever else at Ripple saying these things, banking the unbanked, getting these people online, and that way you get more people circulating with banks, and it's easy for them to send money and blah blah. It's funny, everybody talks about the benefits of money, but no one talks about how we all would benefit as a species if money didn't exist at all. I mean, basically, everyone is going out there working and doing all these different job stuff for imaginary shit. Like, you ever stop and think about that? Like, all this shit is literally make believe. I think I talk about it often on this podcast. It's all make believe. You go out there and work, everything you do, all the stuff you get is ones and zeros. So, really, the only real actual energy output that's valuable is you. You are the commodity. You are your data, your information, everything. You are the commodity. You are what is being consumed. Right? That's what's going on. Everybody's doing all this work in the modern world for what? Money. Yet money doesn't exist. We just make shit up. So really, everybody's going off to work just to work. But we need some type of so-called to be incentivized, and we need some type of motivation. Well, oh yeah, here's some paper. Here you go. Oh, with this paper, you can buy a lot of this. And it's like, okay. But no one stops to think about it. Like, wait. That makes sense. Like, actually, all the stuff that we do in the world can be done anyways without money. But nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to. That seems such a radical idea for some people to even understand that money is just bullshit. We just making shit up. That they're just so taken aback by that they don't know what to do. But anyways, as I see this G20 debt reduction, I'm like, okay, that's some shit I've never heard of. And it's not a sign to make it fully operational. I'm like, fully operational? I never heard of this shit. When the hell did you make this? They're making stuff behind the scenes. And then they come out and just drop it. Right? So I looked it up. Okay, what can I find? I find this link 2007. I don't even know where this is even about or where it's from. This is what I found. But it's the same thing. It says release G20, a flexible mechanism for debt reduction and sustainable development draft concept to relaunch international cooperation, a win-win proposal for the international community. And it's like, okay, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, what is this shit? So we get a little introduction saying funding the Corporation of Sustainable Development. That doesn't sound familiar, right? Suffers from further sustainability issues, and it is worsening with the COVID-19 pandemic, your so-called catalyst for all this. The technical assistance to investments, so indispensable for sustainable development, and including the ODA grants for uh, blended finance, can be relaunched in line with CDGs, which is Sustainable Development Goals, at next year G20 under Italian presidency, as the expansion of suspension of payments decided already this year by G20. And it's saying this year, but I don't even know what year this document is. I think it came out last year. Yes, came out last year. October 27, 2020. Like I said, you can scour the internet all day long and you'll still miss shit. Because you're only human, you're only one person. That's why even as I check other people's accounts and stuff, see what information they know, all the stuff can still just be doop, over the place. Right over your head. And even in this document, it's still trying to figure out what the fuck are they trying to do with this. And I think I just saw what I was looking for. Let's see. Let me roll. Goes into the background. It says the IMF has already decided to cancel debt payments to its 25 poorest member countries, according to some estimates that some would be about $214 million. It's here we go. It says G20 initiative DSSI for 76 low-income developing countries in 2020 responds to an immediate need for liquidity from debtor governments, and only temporarily shifts the problem. Liquidity. Another key word. If you're paying attention to stuff and you kind of been doing your own research, when they talk about liquidity, the most thing that I hear the most about as far as digital assets and cryptocurrency when it comes to liquidity is XRP. XRP is literally designed to provide liquidity if there is a financial crisis, because after the 2008 financial crisis, they realized there was no liquidity, that there's no liquid, there's no the ability to just buy, move, sell, trade assets in the time of when things are going down, or recessions or depressions, whatever, in the markets. Liquidity is tied up in nostro vostro accounts, pretty much prepaid accounts. So when you send a bank transfer from one part of the world to the other part of the world, it's kind of already pre-funded by the money, as it takes so long for that transfer to be completed and documented. XRP solves that problem. So when we talk about a need for liquidity, we're talking about IMF XRP. That's not a stretch of imagination, because if you've been doing research, or if you've been paying attention for all these years, or you're just starting to get into it, wherever the case may be, you can find this stuff. It goes on to talk about some other stuff, blah blah, and there's just so much into it. And I know, as I'm going over this to not have the podcast be too long, I know I'm missing information, right? I know I'm missing information. I'm gonna have to sit down and actually read it. I had seen something just scrolling, and where is it? Here we go. It says debt conversion may be gradual in order to increase in time to leverage the impact and phase with the country's policy shaping. Gradual approach allows to modify development strategy and give creditors some leverage. Moreover, in adverse cases of bad governance of funds, debt conversion could even be suspended. So expanding the availability of the IMS special drawing rights. XRP has been talked about being part of the special drawing rights, some type of supernatural currency, something like that. Probably in association with gold as well. It says as it happened in 2009, right after the financial collapse in the late fourth quarter of 2008. See how all this is connected? With an injection of 250 billion is another element of the released G20 action for which the U.S. resistance will have to be overcome. One of the functions of the SDRs is to allow the most fragile states to access foreign currency liquidity without having to sell their reserves, which almost always entails the devaluation of the currency resulting in imported inflation. IMF is called upon to promote actively this expansion of its member base, which is broader than G20, also creating connection with willing partners outside G20. This is what they've been doing this whole entire time. You see how far back it goes? How far back all this stuff goes and what they've been doing. It says release G20 will also call the involvement of the G7 group, which is interesting because they just had their summit, right? The IFIs was a financial institution, something, or international financial institution, I believe, of the Paris Club, and large groups of private investors with the support of B20. See how they're doing it? It's all these international groups. All these international groups, all these countries coming together, collaborating behind the scenes, talking in the most boring things, places where you can't really ask them any questions. The media is paid and bought for anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can't get any real journalists or any real actual questions brought into there to figure out, hey, what are you guys trying to do? You want to talk about who rules the world, who does the thing? It's G20 summit, G7 summit, all these agreements, NATO, Paris Accord, Geneva Convention, all these different UN, all these different international organizations. They're sitting there trying to figure out what they're going to do with the world. Bilderberg Group. That's all they're doing. Sitting there trying to figure out what we're going to do with the world. Meanwhile, the rest of us sitting here with our thumb our ass doing whatever. It says Italy has a natural bridge between Europe and Africa, can and should take leadership in the G20 Italian presidency in 2021. It will be a window of opportunity to encourage and flag the initiative. So it says also French President Macron recently raised how France and Europe needs to know how to help our neighbors in Africa fight the virus more effectively. Also, they just did a central bank digital currency pilot testing. And they're talking about canceling debt and all this stuff. So all these things are going on behind the scenes. And they have the little goals that likely bilateral negotiation can result in the following actions. So all the different things is going to happen. Trying to cancel out debt. Let's see. The results are released at G20 initiative and SDG funds from the various countries. Blah 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 blah. Like I said, there's a lot to even unpack on this. It says for the implementation of operations with parallel memoranda of understanding, creditor countries are invited to establish new generation of protocols. XRP ledger, XRP payment system, Ripple protocol payment system. All these blockchains, these distributed ledger technologies, protocols, computer software, rules, understanding, instructions on how to do certain things. For inclusive, sustainable, productive investments, which will depart from colonist and paternalistic approaches of the past, which will necessarily include local private companies. Huh. Interesting, right? It just kind of throws me off sometimes. So I was like, well, okay, what the fuck is FDG? So I looked it up, fdgfund.org. It says Sustainable Development Goals Fund. It says the SDG fund is operationally closed. It's operationally closed, and I'm at the rate saying it's time for it to be fully operational. But on the website, it's operationally closed. So now the question is, when will this shit be activated? How will it be activated? Will we actually know? Or will we just see a little statement like that and then that's it? Nobody really paid too much attention to it. And it says this site is alive for knowledge and dissemination purposes. So just having all the information. I think it's interesting that look who they're showing on this video for the audio version of the podcast. Like they're showing parts in Southeast Asia, I want to say India. They're showing this video and all the other stuff and all the little stats that's going on. But it's no surprise to me that all this involves the UN, United Nations. There's another organization, and it doesn't surprise me to see that Sustainable Development Goals. Oh, that's right. That's the 17 goals set up by the UN that we're supposed to accomplish by 2030. Oh, you mean Agenda 2030? You see, all the stuff is tied in together, and this is why I don't get that many viewers. My shit will never be played. My shit will never be promoted. My shit will never catch wind. I will never get no real growth of my podcast, YouTube channel, none of that stuff. I accepted that because fuck it. I have integrity, man. I want to try to remain as honest and unbiased as possible, and to expose these people what they're doing. No poverty, right? No poverty. I guess they're gonna find a way to achieve that. Zero hunger, uh, good health and well-being. I guess they'll get that with the vaccines, quality education. I guess they're gonna do that with critical race theory, gender equality. Well, they already destroyed the concept of gender, anyways, right? You could be a male, you could be a female, you could be whatever the fuck you want to be, apparently, even though you can't. But it doesn't matter. Hermaphrodite's not a real, actual biological scientific terms. They did that like that doesn't exist, anyways. Clean water and sanitation. Oh, clean water. You talking about the clean water that's in Flint, Michigan? Yeah, their water seems pretty clean. Pretty sure Nestle owns a lot of the Great Lakes, Michigan, Great Lakes water and stuff like that. They find a way to prioritize that. Okay, cool. Affordable and clean energy. Oh, you mean the carbon tax that's coming? You see how all this shit, like, look how I'm just going down the line, and show you how some fucked up shit is behind the scenes, right? Decent work and economic growth. Oh, you mean uh global, not global, but I can't think of the word right now. God damn it. Universal basic income. There you go. Because as long as you get in some type of money already, you go to work. You just that's just supplemental income, right? But it's just enough to make you feel like you're okay, but not really enough to you're not allowed to move above your so-called social or economic class. Rather, I'm gonna say social, but economic class. Industry and innovation and infrastructure. Oh, blockchains and digital distributed ledger technologies. Got that. Reducing inequalities. Once again, basic universal basic income. Or taking from the so-called rich, creating two separate classes. Sustainable cities and communities. They want everybody to move to the fucking city. Don't live out in the farm. Don't live out in rural areas. Don't live out in the suburbs. You need to live in the city, and it's all gonna be fully electric and all this other stuff. And you're gonna have to have your ID and vaccine IDs and passports and everything else like that. Responsible consumption and production. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Monitoring what you're gonna do. Monitoring what you eat. Monitoring how much is produced. Monitoring everything. Climate action, they're just going to destroy everything and call it climate change and take out coal. Anything that will allow you to sustain yourself, they're going to take that away from you. Life below water, that's interesting. Life on land, that's interesting. Huh. I wonder what those about. Peace, justice, and a strong institution. Basically, do as you're told, and we're going to determine what's good, what's politically correct to say, or what's freedom of speech is gone, right? You can't say shit. Cancel culture. Make sure they took care of that. They weaponize, right? They kind of rallied up the troops of the social justice warriors to make sure you feel like, oh, you can't ever say nothing wrong about anybody. It's fun because that's part of reality. I can say mean things about people if I choose to. That's part of life. That's my choice. You might not like it, but guess what? Fuck you. See? It doesn't matter, right? We all can say whatever we want to say. You can take it personal or you can let it go. Or you can attack back, but that's your choice. This is life. This is part of being a human being. This is the experience that we have. You can't force everybody to be nice. And that's such a delusional aspect. You can't force everybody to be nice. In fact, let's be honest, everybody was nice. be fucking boring, man. You know it would be, man. You know it would be. It would be boring. I enjoy being an asshole sometimes because I think it's funny, right? My son comes in the living room and stuff. He acts all goofy, talks in a little child, a little baby voice. Wanna know why? Because he think it's funny. Because he's trying to annoy me. My dog comes out there and says a little smart ass shit. Wanna know why? Because she thinks it's funny. Because he's trying to annoy me. That's just part of who we are as beings, right? This is what we do. We get bored. We're not even bored. We if we think something funny, we do it, right? And if it hurts someone's, we don't want to necessarily hurt someone's feelings, but what do you do when you're angry and you're pissed off at somebody? You find a way to hurt their feelings, right? Take this for example. Somebody says, so me, right? I'm a black person, right? Air quotes, I'm a black person, right? And then I'm at a gas station. And this another air quote white person comes up and they're mad at me because they think I just pulled into the spot to beat them out. So they get out of the car. It's like, you just fucking pulled out to the spot. You see me there waiting and stuff. You turn in, you fucking dig. They get all mad and stuff. I'm just looking at them like, man, shut the fuck up. I get all mad at them and stuff. We go back and forth. And then this white person says, oh, you fucking nigger. And then, I get all mad like, man, fucking racist piece of shit. But guess what? It's not racist, right? People can't handle their emotions. So when they get involved in a situation like that, they get so pissed off, all they can think of is, I want to say something to hurt this person's feelings. Oh, this person is black. Oh, so I'll call him a nigger just to piss him off. I know I'm not racist. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't have to prove that to nobody. The people that know me know I'm not that. But I will say this just to piss this person off because I'm so mad right now. I'm either going to punch them in their face or I'm going to hurt them emotionally. So either hurt them physically or hurt them emotionally. You can't hurt me spiritually. We're not going down that route. So they're trying to figure out how to hurt you. Right? These things that you can't regulate. You can't put into laws. You can't do nothing. It's just to each their own. It's something for everybody to figure out. But this is where we're going, man. You see the goals right here. For those of you who listen to the audio version of the podcast, as I've been labeling out, the 16 is a peace, justice, and strong institutions. And then 17 is partnerships for the goals. So to let you know, we're going to have a whole world on this shit. Other countries and private institutions. That's why everybody just folded last year. As far as COVID-19 all around the world, that's why everybody, domino effect, everybody sat there copy and paste, and everyone pretty much did the same thing. Let's all shut down the whole entire fucking modern world. Partnerships. They know what they're doing, man. It's all they're pulling the strings behind the scenes, and we sit there like, oh, who's controlling the world? Who's trying to figure out? Hell, it's right here. It's right in front of our face. It's hidden behind all these so-called humanitarian efforts and everything. And a lot of people who work for these institutions buy into the shit. Oh my God, I see what this shit says. It says going organic. How you going organic? Majority of the world already eats organic food. I'll explain this to a friend the other day. I'm like, organic just sounds nice in Western culture, in certain modern areas, and certain so-called high wealth value countries, so like that, where you could basically mark up the price for quality of food. That's all organic food is in the United States of America. It's just a higher price for quality of food. Meanwhile, it's bullshit because all they're doing is selling you shit the way they should sell it anyways. But because they want to have mass production and they want you to come back and keep eating their food, they'll throw a bunch of chemicals and a bunch of additives and sugars and fake sugar, stuff like that, to get you hopped up and dopamine levels to make you come back and buy the pack of Skittles over and over. Right? Buy a pack of cookies. I used to sit and eat a pack of Chip Ahoy cookies, soft chewy. I used to sit there and eat a whole fucking pack one night. I used to sit there and eat that shit, man. Right? And that contributes to all these medical issues. That contributes to depression and all these different issues that we have in the modern world. Like, this shouldn't exist. Vaccines, all the other things that go on that we put into our body, we never stop to think, hey, what the fuck did I just eat? Right? Right? You have a real cookie, and then you eat some major corporation product cookie, and you be like, God damn, what the fuck? Why is these two things taste distinctively different? But that's what they're doing, man. It's all a game. It's just fucking with people. And then I was on Twitter, and I also saw this. I seen this the other day, and it says meet Onyx, JP Morgan's own blockchain. I was like, what the fuck? It's funny because JP Morgan was like, oh no, we're not going to blockchain. We're not doing that. We're not having that. And then they decided to make their own JP Morgan coin to go alongside their own within their own banks and their partnerships. And they're like, no. I forgot what this was. Okay, never mind. They're trying like, no, we're not doing that stuff. We're not doing it. No, they are doing it. They just don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to make no money off of them. And I see this from the Digital Asset Investors channel. Let's see. So it talks about JP Morgan tests blockchain payments. It says JP Morgan Chase recently sent blockchain payments between satellites orbiting Earth in a test of the Internet of Things payments technology. Something the digital asset investor has talked about. I heard other people talk about before. I know I mentioned as well too. That they're gonna put this shit up in space. If they put all the satellites and all the nodes that they run a financial structure, financial institution, quantum financial system, whatever you want to call it, that they put it all up in space, and they have their little space wars. I don't know, kind of funny that we got a space force now too, right? Even though we always had an Air Force Space Command, which is what Space Force is, but don't worry, people laugh at it and shit, don't even know where it's actually coming from. That has been here since the 60s and 70s, even before that. It's probably been here since, I don't know, Air Force was established after the Roswell crash in 1947, the National Security Act that was signed. Probably just a coincidence. Probably just another coincidence, though. Don't worry about it. Also, another coincidence that is started to talk about, I don't know, aliens again. And disclosure. And I think it was John Podesta, of all people, who said that, oh, President Biden needs to disclose any information they have on aliens. I read your emails, guy. Yeah, how about you disclose more of what you're doing, but whatever. But is this how they do things? So you're telling me that a blockchain payments between satellites orbiting Earth, they already tested that? And I don't even know what year this is in, but they already. I know this is in the past. I know this is in the past. Excuse me. And it says Internet of Things payments technology will allow consumers to pay for products via their. Excuse me. I should just turn the music down while I read it. Pay for products via their smart devices, like having their self-driving car pay for gas. As the CEO of Onyx, Umar Farako, I can't say that. JP Morgan Chase says we are nerdy, and it was a much more fun way to test Internet of Things. JP Morgan Chase used GOM, I don't know, space satellites to run the test. The satellite test proved Internet of Things payments possible and also demonstrated the possibility of data marketplace breakdown and blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I seen this. I seen the thing from Zero Hedge tweet. And then the digital asset investor, he retweeted something old to that. But I was like, okay, you gotta go straight to the source, right? Here you go, jpmorgan.com, Onyx, link. Interbank Information Network is now Link by JP Morgan. Link spelled Link. Let's see, this says transferring how information moves. Let's watch a little video.
More than half the world's largest banks have signed up to join a new paradigm in financial technology. It's called Link. A platform that uses secure shared ledgers, simplifying information exchange to transform how money moves. Link is anything but business as usual. It's collaborative, it's efficient, and it moves information faster, much faster. But Link isn't blockchain as usual either. It's institutional grade. It's infinitely scalable. And it's
institutional grade. So it's not for their commercial use. It's not for our commercial use. It's institutional grade. So it's only for financial institutions. JP Morgan and their partners.
By JP Morgan, the world leader in wholesale payments. That's why hundreds of banks, corporations, and fintechs have signed up to join Link.
Banks, corporations,
They're
and
accessing
fintechs.
applications that streamline payment information flows. They're using software development tools in an open developer environment. and they're turning new technology into commercial value faster than they ever could before. Find out what your business can do with Link.
All this stuff they got going on, they just bam. See how they just drop it? Boom. Okay, yeah, we got this. And yet, I already knew. I don't know if I did this on a podcast or if I was writing an article or a paper for school, but I already knew that they were working on stuff. And they had their own JP Morgan coin, and so I already knew they were kind of working on stuff, but I didn't know it was to this extent. And I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. But it says a Link Advantage talks about accuracy and control using Onyx blockchain platform. Link enables financial institutions and corporate users to make secure peer-to-peer data transfers with greater speed and control. Basically, they're walled gardens. They're blocking out and saying, hey, it's only for financial institutions and corporate users. So central private banks, or central banks, private banks, and any other corporate institutions, financial institutions, they got their own shit. But they also have to have some interoperability to work with everything else, which comes along with, I don't know, a Flare Finance, Flare Network, XRP Ledger, I don't know. Some of those things have some type of interoperability built into their networks, and it kind of defines their networks themselves. It says a Link is a peer-to-peer network where participants can access a growing collection of applications that can help improve common transaction, trade, and information flows. Connecting to Link is simple as a single API integration, which is what application programmable interface, I think. I always forget the abbreviation. And our platform offers pre-built software development. So it's all set up for you. It's all set up for you. A global community, connecting a global community of financial institutions and corporate users. 25 plus of the world's top 50 banks. So more than half of the world's top 50 banks are already on this. 400 plus leading institutions, 78 countries. There's only like 260 something countries, 265, 66, 67, something like that countries. You're talking about 78 countries. So you know that's your G7, that's your G20, wherever else, right? That are involved in this. But yet they'll tell you cryptocurrency is here to stay, or should you do this investment? No. And they'll tell you, oh, pay attention to Bitcoin. Just because Bitcoin crashes doesn't mean the rest of the market should go down, because the rest of the market has better technology than Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Ethereum outdated technology. First and second generation blockchains. We're on the third generations now. But most people don't even understand that. They don't know none of this stuff. So you can't be just sitting there throwing your money at a Dogecoin or a Shiba Inu or whatever else. You need to find who has these financial partnerships. I don't want to say necessarily backers, but yeah, you can also look into their investors as well. And you have the founder of Link. We create a Link, understanding the vast complexities of global banking system. So you have the central bank digital currencies that the Bank International Settlement is saying, no, we need to have this here to stay. Yeah, International Monetary Fund Managing Director saying release the the mechanisms for debt reduction around the world. Go ahead and turn that on, right? You have sustainable development goals that the UN has put out, those 17 goals. And then you have corporate entities and central banks and financial institutions having their own blockchains, doing all the other stuff. Where do you think they got the money for all this shit? You don't think they were using Ponzi schemes and cryptocurrencies, I don't know, like a Bitcoin to raise their funds? You don't think they were shorting Bitcoin and all the other stuff? You don't think they were doing all these different things, man? It's a scheme, man. It's a game. It's a game. And to be honest with you, it's not even that hard to pull off. Because the majority of us, we ain't paying attention, man. We ain't paying attention to this. This should be the main thing that's talked about every day, day in, day out. Before you hear anything about the fucking weather, before you hear anything about politics, what they're doing in schools, education, all the things you think are important, they are. But the most important thing is the money. Because we're all playing this game of fake imaginary shit, and we're going to call money, we all want to play Monopoly. We should probably understand the rules and what's going on and how it's being changed in front of our eyes. This should be the most important thing that you wake up and try to get information on every day. Because meanwhile, they'll change the shit and you'll just be, okay, whatever. I guess this is what we're doing now. I mean, that's how people go with it. Look, it says digitize payments, digitize information to reduce inefficiencies experienced in legacy bill payments. Hey, you pay your bills, right? I'm just saying, Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan Chase, they got something going on. You got a Chase credit card. I don't know. You might want to pay attention to it. Just saying. And there's something else I wanted. Okay, so it has a list of partners. 382. A majority of them are Asia Pacific area. Huh. You have 7 in North America. Bank of Montreal, First Horizon Bank, JP Morgan Chase, National Bank of Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, National Bank of Canada, Royal Bank of Canada. Huh. Didn't they have something to do with XRP? Ah, okay, whatever. Maybe I'm just throwing it out there. Huh. Interesting how it's a lot of Canadian banks, right? Makes you wonder. Actually, I think these are all Canadian outside JP Morgan Chase. I don't know if First Horizon Bank is. Obviously, it has the Toronto Dominion, Toronto, Canada, Canada. It has Latin America countries and their banks. I was about to see if there was, man, I would die if it says anything if one of these banks are in El Salvador. If one of these banks are in El Salvador, oh man, I would just die laughing. Then you have the Euro banks. I'm just trying to look to see what stands out that I kind of know. Banco Santander, another Ripple partner. But don't worry, man. It's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. Just a coincidence that some of these banks are Ripple partners. There's software upon software upon software. There's infrastructure upon infrastructure upon infrastructure built within infrastructure within infrastructure within an infrastructure. So much so that it seems like it's decentralized. But at its core, there's some type of centralization. But it's going to be so hidden to the fact that even as all the stuff, the research I've done, I don't even think I necessarily know who's at the core of it. It could be something as obvious as IMF, Bank of London or City of London, and their bank, European Union or European Central Bank, and the People's Bank of China. It could be as simple as that, along with the United Nations. I don't know. It's the layers and layers upon layers of this stuff, man. Deutsche Bank. I'm pretty sure they were involved in some money laundering or something like that. I thought they was being shut down or going down, but don't worry, they're still here. What else is there? East West United Bank. Never heard of that before. Huh. Israel Discount Bank Limited. What else is here? Nothing else that stands out to me. And then you have the Asia Pacific banks. People's Bank. Please tell me that's not People's Bank of China. Oh, Chinese banks. National Australia Bank. And I don't even know if some of these are actual central banks or not. I doubt that they are because the central bank's going to have their own networks as well. But these banks make payments to each other. So when you're talking about changing financial institutions, it's not about money for me and you, how we make our money or how we buy our products. No, we're at the fucking bottom of that list. It's about how these corporate banks, these private banks are going to do their bank transfers and their payments and their settlements with other banks and central banks around the world. That's what it's about. Once they figure out how they're doing, so the infrastructure and financial system is set for them. And then the rest of us just gotta fall in line. Because if you want to play the game of money, you want to be involved in this monetary system, well, the people that make up the game are also making up the rules. So sometimes we get mad, oh, these banks are doing this, these banks are doing that, blah, blah. Of course it's fucked up. But guess what? We're playing their game, and they made the game. They set the fucking rules. It sucks, right? But that's the reality of the situation. That's just being honest, man. It sucks. I know it sucks. Because I think about it, it's so fucked up. But hey, you want to play the game of money? Guess what? You didn't create the game. You didn't create the rules. So now you gotta abide by these people and their rules. You can always be an outlaw and do whatever stuff like that and have a criminal enterprise. That's cool too. Me personally, I don't like being in jail. I don't want to go to jail. I've never been to jail, and I want to keep it that way. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna fuck with these people's money. You want to talk about never forget there's PMCs and private military companies or corporations. You don't fuck with people's money, man. You don't think a lot of these banks are backed by the government too? Where do you think the government gets their money from? Central banks. All the shit is made up. And who you think is a strong arm of these central banks? Government. So you try to do something to their money. See what happens to you. See if we end up in a ditch somewhere. Fatima, man, what else is there? Shanghai Rural Commercial Bank, Sony Bank, Inc. That better not be fucking actual Sony. State Bank of India. That's a lot of fucking banks, bro. Did you even realize there's almost 400 something banks? And there's still banks that we know about. Why are there so many fucking banks? You ever drive around your city or wherever you're at in the world? You ever look around and you see this random bank? I'm not even just talking about credit unions. I'm talking about those and other banks too that like, and you're just thinking, where all this money come from? I think I went to my VA examination, and on the way there, USF, I seen that they had a bank. University of South Florida. What is a fucking university? Why do they have a bank? Oh, it's for their employees. It's for their. Oh, okay. See how it goes? Follow the money. Pay attention to the monetary system. Pay attention to what they're doing. Vietnam technology. They're in Vietnam. Union Bank of the Philippines. We talked about that with Ripple. Cross-border payments to the Philippines. Huh. And then it has I don't even know what this is. What the fuck is a SEMA? I'm sure it's an acronym for something. I'm assuming maybe this is Middle East. I see a lot of Middle Eastern names. That's where a lot of rich people are in the Middle East. They don't talk about it, right? We don't talk about it, but a lot of your rich people are in the Middle East. More money and assets than what you know, and Forbes can't even track it. But yeah, a lot of Emirates, Lebanon Bank. So you got a lot of those banks as well. But it's interesting to me just to see how all this news is popping up with blockchains, digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, digital assets, and yet you see the market go down. And it says, oh, because of this China news, so like that. Okay, if that's the case, then the market should be skyrocketing right now because of that article from Reuters and the Bank International Settlement saying central bank digital currencies are going to be a thing. Because if central bank digital currency is going to be a thing, that means cryptocurrency is going to be a thing as well, in some way or fashion, right? It also means that a lot of the shit is going to go away. Because a lot of them are Ponzi schemes, a lot of them are ICO. I think the SEC came out and filed charges against some company, I can't remember what the name of it is, saying that they did fraud in having an ICO. Majority of these cryptocurrencies are ICOs. Yet they've been able to get away with it. Why do you think they've been able to get away with it? Why do you think so-called regulations are taking so long to come out, even though people have slipped up and said, "Oh, regulations are here." Clearly, regulations are here because J.P. Morgan decided to go ahead and have their own fucking blockchain distributed to technology and stuff. So clearly, the regulations are here. The clarity is there. We just don't know about it yet. They're just waiting to do all this stuff, and then once they're good to go and they're done and they feel confident in themselves, that's when they'll release the announcement. And like I said, by then it's too fucking late. Try to get your crumbs off the table, man. For the regular, average, everyday person, try to get your crumb off the table. And that's why I'm going to keep on this until it shifts and it goes to something else. I'm sure at some point in time, I'm going to probably try to switch and start talking more about maybe climate change, because I know they're going to start pressing on that. Oh, man, this money shit, though, is really... it's frustrating. It's annoying from just the humanitarian aspect of it all. For them to sit there and tell people to buy Bitcoin, knowing that the price of Bitcoin could go extremely high, but at some point in time, they will find a way to, they not find a way, they will regulate it and bring it down. And they might try to push you out through regulations or just push you out and make you sell at some point. I'm sure a lot of people have Bitcoin, they probably started selling the other day when it all started crashing. It's designed that way, man. It's designed. For those who've been in the cryptocurrency space these past few years, we see this shit happen all the time. We know our research, we know the technology, we know the infrastructure that's being built. We know it's not foresight. They're telling you exactly what they're doing, but through these small little snippets and articles that, unless you're searching for this stuff, you're not gonna fucking find because the media's not gonna tell you until it's too late. But that's just my opinion on all this stuff, man. And I'll be back on tomorrow with some more news. I was trying to look for stuff as far as election audit going on in Arizona, but there's so much fake news articles about that. It's hard to find anything substantial. Not substantial. I try to find stuff from the mainstream media, you know, when they slip up and put a little bit more facts instead of lies to the articles, but I haven't really seen that too much like that. But I mean, if you pay attention and you're not living in denial that the election can easily be stolen, it's not that hard of a concept. It's not a stretch of imagination. It's not even like some heresy thing to say, or so blasphemous for me to say that the election is stolen. Like, bro, are you serious? Like, it's not that hard. You really think they'll let people actually vote? If you think people are stupid, you don't think people that run elections think the same thing? You don't think these politicians think the same thing? That's why this past year they act like they were complete rulers because they were basically saying, "Oh, we're smart. I know everything." You have Anthony Fauci coming out saying, "If you go against me, you're going against science." Well, that's not a God. I talked about it before. That's definitely a God complex right there. If you go against me, you're going against science. As if Anthony Fauci is the definitive representation and the epitome of what science is. That's the world we're living in, man. But like I said, if you can carve out a little lane for you to get some of the crumbs off the table and sit comfortably, or at least where not too many people are fucking with you, you might not make millions of dollars, but if your debt to income ratio is low, you got more income coming in than debt going out, financial freedom is achieved, even though you just got a basic house and a basic car, fuck it. You're good. That's all I'm trying to get to. That's my long-term goal, right? Financial freedom. I ain't trying to have millions of dollars, but financial freedom where I can sit comfortably. The market runs up to a certain point, I'll cash out everything and stuff, buy a fucking house and be done with it. Because I don't need to stand to make millions, man. the way this world is going and stuff like that, I don't even want to get caught in money like that, because you see the people that do, they forget about everything else. That's all they care about. They almost do it in a fashion in which they're so afraid of being poor again or being broke or anything like that they can't stop themselves. But we're going to keep talking about it on this podcast. We're going to keep trying to figure out the information that's going on, and as I scour the internet and try to find different things and how they're trying to lie to us about the obvious truth, or the obvious facts, rather. They lie to us about COVID-19. They lie to us about all this other shit, and now they're lying to us about the financial infrastructure that's being built in front of our eyes. As always, check out my podcast. Check out my blog site, DamienJackson22.com. Check out the social media links and my podcast links to figure out how to listen to the audio version of the podcast. I upload to Odyssey and YouTube, the visual version of the podcast. Definitely check that stuff out. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back on tomorrow. So until next time.